Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Sunday, August 18th, 2024. Eagles-Patriots game was 3 days ago, correct?
Thursday.
Yeah, so we're coming at you with a little bit of a recap of the game, just to kind of go over some things that we saw and everything, but we're not doing night of games yet until the regular season because I'm not gonna stay up late editing for a preseason game.
Right. No, I get you.
So we'll get on to the game. We'll talk about some roster and depth chart things from practice, some injury stuff, some stock up and stock down. But as always, let's go ahead and start giving a plug to our club, part of the Philadelphia Eagles fan club in Colorado Springs. We want to point out right now we do have a new and updated temporary bar. So here in the Springs, we're going to be going to Rhinos for the first few games. Again, we don't know how long Frankie's will be out of commission, but Rhinos over on
Barnes and
Powers, thank you. Barnes and Powers is going to be our temporary bar as the Eagles group. So we'd love to see you guys there for all the games. We'll be in the back corner, I think he was talking about.
Yeah,
there's like 6 TVs.
Luckily, we'll have a watch party, the Friday night game, opening game of the season, September 7th, 6th? I forget.
6th, I think
it's the 6th. So we'll be having a watch party there that Friday night, and then the following Monday night we'll have a watch party there as well. So hopefully something happens then. But Rhinos, it's right on the corner. You can't really miss it. It's we've been there before.
No, I've been there a few times.
I've met
the owner, so it's cool because he kind of knows me, and I watched a lot of Sixers games there. A few.
I met you a few years back.
Yeah, you times there. Phillies games I watched there and stuff. So he always has the game on. He's a big Dolphins and Gators fan. But,
right.
Rhino's is a good bar. It's nice and big. Got some good wings, some good food all around. Good selection of beer. So it'll be nice to have for a temporary place. I like having that. But we're end goal to get back to Frankie. So
definitely
we'll keep you all updated. But in the meantime, we'll hope to see you at Rhinos. Let's go ahead and jump into the game. So the Eagles defeated the Patriots 14-13. Yeah, 2 in a row. 2-0. 2-0. No, fun game though. It was fun to watch. Low scoring, of course. 14-13. Only 2 touchdowns. Well, did the Patriots only get 1 touchdown?
Yes.
We had 2
goals, a 40
2 field goals,
something, and a 51-yarder.
That's right. Okay, so not a lot of scoring, but I think we saw some pretty good stuff. I know you texted me and we called during the game, and it's hard. It's hard to watch preseason, especially when you're playing Kenny Pickett. In which I have to say, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan out there watching right now,
you must be happy.
Sorry, you guys were in hell. That is, it's brutal to watch. It's not going very well. I don't want to destroy him too much right now because we're going to be talking about him in a second. But what do you have any thoughts on the game, Dad, overall?
It was a tough watch, I think, later as it went. But, it was kind of exciting. You're always looking to see somebody do something. There was a few good plays, a few good passes. Guys were hoping to make the roster, didn't play. A couple guys injured. So it was tough. But, I'm always looking at, the offensive line, see how we run the ball, which wasn't really as good as the week before. But, you're just looking to see a guy on punt coverage, a punt return guy, just to see if they're if they've got it. Some of the players did, and some of the players didn't.
Yeah, I get you. Well, let's go ahead and get into some stock up, stock down, some guys that we saw some good things from, and guys that we saw bad things from. I'll start us off. Number one I have as a stock up is Nakobe Dean. His stock has been rising the last few weeks. He had a pretty good first preseason game, not unbelievable, pretty good. And then I thought he was really good in this preseason game. I thought he was great. He was all over the field. He was making plays. He was making tackles. I don't know if I have his final individual statistics here.
4 tackles, I think.
But, yeah, it seemed like he was all over the field and doing pretty darn well. Let's see. Here he is. Yeah, they make it. Yeah, so 5 tackles combined.
Right?
That's cool.
4 solo.
4 solo, 1 assist, so 5 tackles combined. I thought he was playing really well. I'm happy to see it.
You're looking to see how he moves, if he's making a good read, like if he's getting washed out by a lineman who's not keeping his eyes open. That's what you want, that field presence, that peripheral vision type player. And, I think, like you say, last week and this week, we're still kind of holding our breath for him. We want him to be that guy that we thought he was coming out of college. So, hopefully he can, I know he's definitely bulked up. He's definitely playing with some speed out there.
He's a big dude.
And he has a lot of awareness. That's what we're hoping to continue to see, that pick up that tight end who's cutting in front of him.
Yeah.
Or, not getting blindsided by a block is my biggest thing for preseason. That's what you're looking for.
It's funny because I know he's a smaller guy as far as height, but when he runs, he's stocked. He's a big dude. He
carries himself big.
Yeah,
plays big.
Plays big. Yeah. Next stock up I have is Joseph Ngata. 5 targets, 5 catches, 88 yards, 28 for a long, 17 yards per catch is an average. He had a great game, and he's really pushing. It's unfortunate because he's kind of injured right now, so he's just missed practice the other day and maybe missing today. But he had a great game, and he's on a wide receiver group who, after our first 2 guys and 3 guys really, because Covey's going to be on the team sure. But first 2 guys as receivers. There's not, there's not a lot of ball. Yeah, there's not a lot of I don't want to say competition because there is a lot of competition, but there's nothing defined there.
Right.
John Ross and Paris Campbell and Johnny Wilson, who we've been rooting for, and now Joseph Ngata, and he played really well, but it's anyone's spot. There's no defined third guy. I don't know if the guy's not here.
Well, no one stood out, I guess, is what you're saying, although Johnny's made some great plays. And, they were using Ross early in the first game, and we were hoping some. But, I mean, like you say, there's not that many balls around, but we're going to need that guy. Like, oh, my gosh, he's wide open. Like, how did that happen? That type thing. And, any additional help that we can get from that wide receiver position, it's going to be phenomenal because you're going to have the backs out of the backfield catching balls and things like that. But
it's just hard to see who it is because that third spot, there's no one set. It's everyone's had good moments. Ross has had good moments as the kick return, and Paris Campbell, I don't know if he's really played, so he hasn't had many moments. But Ngata and Johnny Wilson have had great moments, and you're just like, and Covey, who's number 3? We don't know. Like it's just like hopefully someone soon takes that next step up. But
I mean, Smith made the play there at the end with the 2-point conversion, but that was it. He didn't do anything. I think he had 1 catch.
It was kind of a confidence booster, I think, for him. Like they were like, hey, let's throw him that.
It was good to see. But I mean, we need more. Like in preseason, you need to see what Ngata's doing. You need a 6-7 catch game with 60, 50 yards. So, hopefully, I mean, Ngata's a hard worker. He was caught every ball thrown his way, so you can't really say anything else about him. And I wanted him to get over 100. I was hoping he would get that one more, but they didn't do it. So,
my next stock up is going to be E.J. Jenkins. You want to go over him real quick?
Okay,
that's a tight end.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I heard him talking about him.
So let's see, pushing for that third spot, kind of.
5 targets, 5 receptions, 47 yards. I do remember him making a pretty good catch on the one ball that was thrown his way.
Yep.
And, they had talked about him, and I saw him a few times. It's kind of hard when you're watching the other team's feed because your guy can have a 40-yard beautiful run, and they don't even mention his name. So you really got to be on it. I mean, luckily they still put these game books out, or we'd be confused.
It's true, yeah.
Who's that guy? What number is that? Before, and they don't show a replay, so it really makes it hard. But
it's brutal watching the other team's feed. It is bad.
Just for a tight end to make some plays. Obviously Calcaterra's number 2. Number 3 is just a wash. I mean, we haven't seen anything from Babineau, and it's just been it's struggle. But he looked pretty good. He's got a pretty good size. I was watching to see if he could block, and he made a few blocks. So stock up, baby. Right. Let's go. Hopefully, maybe he's
pushing. He's pushing for that third tight end spot. I know it's difficult because C.J. Ozama, he's got the experience. He's had some good seasons in the past. But we've talked about it. Age. He's old.
Yeah.
Do you want a third tight end who's old and can't really play special teams? He's 31 years old, or do you want this guy? And I mean, E.J. Jenkins is a big dude. He's 6'7". We love that 6'7".
Yeah, I do.
He's 240 pounds. And I think he used to be a wide receiver in college. I think he converted to tight end. I might be wrong. I might be thinking about someone else. But I don't.
But we remember last year or 2 years ago we had that third tight end that would come in, stall, and do the downside block, go in motion and just destroy somebody. That kind of size, that kind of hit. Hopefully he can do that. Be that same guy to help with that. The I don't know if it's a quarterback run or a delayed handoff, but if he can knock that guy off the end, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. My last stock up I have is Avonte Maddox. He was a fringe player on both of our rosters. Kind of like, is he going to be on the team? Is he not? Like, we don't know, because the biggest thing with him, anytime you talk about him, every time you bring up his name, you have to mention, well, he's injured. He's had a lot of injuries. He's had a lot of problems. The consistency it's just not there. We don't know, but he had a great game. He had a pick for 47 yards, picked it off in the end zone and returned it.
Stepped right in front of the guy. It was beautiful read.
Yeah, it was. Great read.
Probably a bad pass by the QB, but he still
though, it was good.
And then he took off, and then he just kind of stepped out of bounds. It's funny because obviously I'm watching it going, go all the way. And, then he kind of, I can see, okay, it's preseason.
Well, the big thing, I think the big thing for him is he knows he's 29, I think. He's been around for a while. I don't need to get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this again.
It's funny, if you watch I'm not sure who it was coming up from behind him to block, but he came behind him and the guy that was chasing him down, he got in his way and slowed him down. Yeah. So you're thinking, oh my goodness. But
28. And I think he just knows. He's like, well, I don't need to.
Let the offense get the work.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good move.
True,
right?
It is. Stock down, number 1. We talked about him already a little bit. Kenny Pickett. Yeah. It's funny because you look at his numbers, like we talked about. Numbers actually don't look that bad. It's 11 of 13, 67 yards, 88.1 passer rating. I know we don't care, but
what's his yards per pass? What was it? 2 yards down the field. That's my concern.
Yeah, 11 completions for 67 yards. So what's that?
6.
Yeah, so that's and a long of 19. So.
Oh wow, he's doing over 10 yards.
Yeah,
so that's good. And again, you don't want to. I don't want to trash him. I've liked Tanner McKee. I liked him last season. I thought he should have been our backup last year. We went out and got Mariota late for a $5 million deal, so that wasn't too bad. But I don't know. I'm a Tanner McKee guy. I like the way he stands in the pocket. So
yeah,
for Pickett, it just didn't look right. And then go ahead, you go with
the big thing was for Kenny Pickett. I like I said, his stats didn't look too bad, but. He just took 4 sacks, and I mean we can talk about the offensive line. It was the second string. I think
it was their first string
offensive line,
right.
But the fourth down, like he got sacked on 4th down, and you're like, what? Like that can't happen. You can never do that. Right. And then because even if you throw an interception 20 yards down the field is better than a sack on 4th down. Like, and I know the numbers are different. He needs to make a roster. You don't want to look bad, but. That sack and then the other one where he rolled out. I don't remember what down it was, but he rolled out to the left and he's running. And he just took a sack, and you're like, what are you doing? I don't understand.
We saw a little bit of that last year.
It was like Wentz in 2020. It literally reminded me of that. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm seeing this.
Like you got to throw it away. I mean, like I say, on 4th down, plus, I was watching the game. You're watching the game. They were blitzing, which I thought was kind of silly in a preseason game. Like, preseason game, you want to see what you got. To blitz your first string defensive line against the 3rd string offensive line, what's your gain? It didn't make any sense. It's kind of like when May ran it in from the 4-yard line. I'm like, why run it in as a quarterback sneak in preseason? Work on your passing and your, you know what I mean? Like I just thought it was
interesting.
That's my feeling about it. Is you're really working on things. Yeah. To run it in from the 4-yard line on a fake handoff, okay, that's good, but. That's a surprise play we can use later in the season. Why use it now?
Yeah. Next stock I have is down is James Bradberry. I thought he had a bad game. I don't know how this guy could still be on the team. I know we talked about it. Did you keep him on the roster?
Yes, I did have him on the roster.
Yeah,
but
I can't.
I pulled up my sheet here so I could cross him off because
I just can't do it.
Again, I was watching him, and I know they're trying to showcase him a little bit. They're trying to see if he still got it, and he just really disappointed. I saw a few plays in his direction that just were not good.
Yeah. Next one, stock down. This one's not to his own fault. This is Tyler Steen. Unfortunately, he was playing through his injury, his ankle injury. He got re-injured, had to go into the tent, and then got carted off.
Yeah.
Just a bummer. It's not to his own fault. Like I said, he had the right guard spot at the beginning of the training camp and preseason and everything. He got hurt and he came back and his job's gone. Like Mekhi Becton stepped in and played well, and it's unfortunate because the re-injury just kind of gets rid of the competition.
But at this point in the season, you just got to solidify that offensive line.
You have to,
even if it's in practice and 7-on-7s, just to make sure we all know who's doing what and where's going on. Yeah. So I mean, he. Sure, it's good. Hopefully, he develops. I mean, instead of pushing him into the front, let's let him develop. He's still a rookie, right?
Second year.
Second year. So I mean, unfortunately, like you say, we want him. He's got the perfect size for the guard. Becton's kind of a big guy.
It's a little too big. It's a little worrisome. I'm not going to lie. 6'8", 360 pounds.
Well, hopefully Stout can get him back, but it is
way too big for a guard.
I mean, you don't need as much mobility unless you're pulling him.
It's true.
You're going to need him, but I mean, hopefully Steen will just continue to push himself and and get better. Basically, just get yourself better. He's obviously going to be on the roster, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And now that we're 1 week away from our last preseason game, and only 2 weeks away from maybe the season, 2.5 weeks or so from the season start, we need that offensive line to just know who's what, and what you're going to do, and your tendencies and things like that. So.
Yeah. I have one more stock up. I'm going backwards a little bit. I'm sorry, because I didn't really note that he was a stock up until I kind of saw our stat sheet right here. Mann, our punter, Braden Mann.
Yeah, he had some good numbers.
4 punts, 191 yards, and along a 56, average of 47.8. That's really good.
Inside 20, any?
Yeah, two inside the 20.
That's always the big number.
I think one of them he punted from like our end zone. Remember, like he punted
right.
from
that
the back of the end zone. So
that
one you can't blame him on. But still, the 4 for 191, man, I'll take that any day of the week. That's freaking good. That's really good. That's a stock up. I'm sorry, I just wanted to.
And the kicking game was also good. I mean, there's still the kickoff still got me. I don't know.
It's weird. I don't know.
It's hard for Elliott not to put it out of the end zone because he did that for 5 years,
Yeah.
And now he's got to drop it inside the 20. It's kind of.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't get it. I don't know.
Hopefully we just can contain. That's it. If not, if you're really bad at it, just give him the ball to 30. I guess that's the plan. But there's no other way to knock him back. I mean, you can't do it. It's just so hard.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into some injuries that we're looking at.
I did have a stock up. I'm sorry if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Nolan Smith, I thought, played well again. He just seems to get that 1 or 2 rushes out of the blue and just comes flying in out of nowhere. And they can't stop him.
He comes in hard. He
definitely has the speed. Hopefully he can stay as well, stay on the field. But I think he grew up a little bit this year, and I think he's playing a lot better. So.
For sure. Next, I'm going to talk about some injuries. So, did not participate in practice the other day. We had Gabe Hall, Matt Hennessy, E.J. Jenkins, Joseph Ngata, Albert O, Caden Stearns, John Ross, Tyler Steen, and Johnny Wilson.
So now this was Saturday's practice?
This would have been, correct. This would have been yesterday's practice.
Okay.
Today's Sunday, right?
So hopefully Jenkins is just a
I assume most of this is a lot of these guys played a lot of the game, and Ngata and EJ Jenkins take it easy a little bit, Same with John Ross and Johnny Wilson. They're in the concussion protocol, but I can't imagine they're actually truly concussed. I'm assuming it has to do with, let's just take it easy. He's got a head. Let's just, he took a big hit last week or something like that.
Right.
We're not doing, we're not going to do that. We're not going to push these guys.
The game is not till Saturday night
so
at home. So you got that whole time to heal.
I think there's a lot more time to practice too. So I think it's just kind of, let's take it easy on some of these guys.
And physically that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, especially some of the guys that we're hoping to make the roster, like Jenkins or Ross and Wilson, who we really been pulled out for.
Limited participants, Oren Burks is back. Good to see, but I don't know if he has the time to make it up. We kind of talked about Nakobe Dean playing really well, possibly looking, fighting for a starting spot. Then you got Zach Bond and Devin White up there. You got Trotter, who's on the team.
So, we didn't talk about Trotter. He didn't really have...
Yeah, nothing there. I didn't have either stock up or down because there's nothing I had.
I don't see how many plays he actually played on your game book if it shows how many snaps he took.
Yeah, this one doesn't show statistics. Percentages.
A whole bunch. I thought at one point it did.
I know it must somewhere. I think it's a different. It's a different book. I'm on a different game.
So, but I don't know how much he played, but he didn't have.
No, there's nothing to talk about there. There's nothing.
The game as before last week, where he seemed to be all over the field. But
I don't even know if he had statistics. I mean, I'll have it right here, but I don't even think he had
maybe one tackle.
Yeah, one tackle. Okay. I didn't even notice it, and it was a combined one. So it was a solo one, but I don't even remember it.
So hopefully he's still out there making some noise.
So Oren Burks, though, we don't know if he's going to be coming back because he's fighting for Ben Van Sumeren for that last linebacker spot, and I don't know if he's a good enough special teamer to beat out Van Sumeren. And Burks is known for being a good special teamer, but so is Van Sumeren. So I don't know about that.
Ben had 2 tackles on the special teams this week, so.
Then Grant Calcaterra was limited to CJ, GJ, Paris Campbell, and Cooper DeJean. So all that's kind of remaining the same. They're not in full team drills, but they're in individual drills and still practicing and everything. I think today I saw from this morning that CJ, GJ was in team drills. So this was yesterday's stuff. So I don't know for sure about what's going on now, but I think he's back in team drills. Let's go in some roster changes and some depth chart talk. So we signed the tackle. the guy, I tried to pronounce his name once before.
Oh, my gosh.
Gottlieb Ayedzi. I'm sorry. They placed cornerback Tyler Hall on IR, and they waived Mekhi Gardner. Let's talk about some guys. We mentioned it a little bit before, so we did talk about Joseph Ngata, so I'm going to pass that one.
Gotcha.
Let's talk about Patrick Johnson. Great special teamer. He's been great in the preseason. I think we had him a stock up last week. Does he got to make the roster?
It'd be nice.
That fumble last week.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice. It was a good play. It was late in the game, though, so you don't know how impactful as far as the line, who was playing.
It was impactful enough to win the game.
It was. But, I mean, was it a throwaway? Who knows? I mean, just saying it's the last play of the game. I thought it was odd that they even did what they did, but good for him. I watched him make a few more plays. I watched him get held a few times. But, hopefully he does. I mean, we could use him. Yeah. I think he's been on a rising player for a season or so. His name has been mentioned. He's done some things, but I don't know.
I'd like to see him on the team. I just don't know how it's going to shape up with that defensive end spot. It all depends on how many wide receivers they keep, which is looking like it might be more now because of Ngata. It's difficult, but maybe Ross and Campbell aren't on the team. But don't you want a veteran? I don't know. There's so much to say that goes to it, but I would like to see Patrick Johnson on this team because he's a great special teamer.
Let's just say we're pulling for him.
He's a great special teamer, and I think he's just right on the cusp. He's either the 53rd or 54th guy, you know what I mean, on the team. Next, I have P.J. Mustipher, defensive tackle. He had a great game the other day. I should have had him in stock up. I'm sorry about that. But I thought he had a really great game, and again, he's similar to Patrick Johnson. He's just on the outside of that defensive tackle group.
Did he have a pass defense in the game?
Pass deflected? Possibly.
I remember seeing somebody had one, and I went, who's that guy? But
yeah,
I thought that was it should be all the way to the right on that.
I don't see it on here. Okay. No. Tackle for loss, 3 tackles total. I thought he had a pretty darn good game, though, and I think he looked really good. And it's just, I think he's also in that spot where he's just, you're bringing Carter, you're bringing Davis as the tackles, you're bringing Ojimo, Milton Williams, Martin Tuipulotu.
Right.
Do you bring a 6th guy? I don't know. Do you want that backup nose tackle to Jordan Davis? That's P.J. Mustipher,
Right.
We're pulling for him as well because Penn State guy, he's from the area and everything. So,
like you say, depending how it shakes out, it would be nice to have, especially early in the season, maybe somebody who can get in there and give Davis and Carter a little bit of rest. And I don't want to say they're not ready, but you know what I mean? It never hurts to not have them play 50 snaps early on. Yeah. Let's see if we can keep them for the long run this year, where last year was kind of an early season thing and then it kind of dropped off. But a lot of other reasons for that. But
yeah. Last thing I'm going to ask you about the depth chart / roster thing. Should Nakobe Dean be the starter? He's been the best linebacker the past few weeks.
He has.
Let's
give it one more week. Let's see how this next week is.
I wonder how much he'll play in the
right, and that's the thing about these preseason games that drives me nuts. And I know some of our listeners don't watch the games because they've commented to me and say, "I never watch preseason games." Like Vent, he's like, "No way." And of course, me and my brother, we're out there half an hour early, with the lights or the curtains pulled and the TV on, so we're ready for the game halfway before it even starts. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, there's been a lot of national talk about none of the Eagles starters playing, and I think they need to play because of what happened at the end of last year. And some of the shows I've watched, and I'm like, I disagree. They're probably getting enough work in practice to be able to do it, and why show your hand early? We don't need to see any of that stuff. We know what we've got in that. But I don't know. I would like to see, I've been pulling for him, but if he's not quite ready, I'd like to see them. I think they're going to shuttle through the linebackers a little bit more than we've seen in the past. Last year, not so much. But we've got 4 guys now that we're talking about with White and, Trotter and Dean. Yeah. So, but, Dean's still a tweener to me. Hopefully he can get in there and play off the line a little bit, do that blitz thing, because that's what he's kind of known for. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll be watching for him next weekend, but I don't know what we're going to get next weekend.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and touch on some other sports, unless you had anything to say about the Eagles anymore.
No, it's what we get.
All right. Yeah, we're playing the Vikings next on Saturday at 11
at home. So we had 2 road games, and the good thing is we'll get our announcers this week.
True.
When the game shows, which probably is going to be Saturday at 2 a.m. or whatever, Sunday morning at 2. But, we'll be able to watch it for updates. But these preseason games, you can't get like you used to get in the old NFL Network. You get the replay the next morning or whatever. But
yeah. So we're playing the Vikings. Hopefully we get to see Cooper DeJean. That's the one I'm hoping for, just to get some time. I don't know if he'll be back by then. We know he's back in individuals. I don't know if he's in team drills yet.
He might have played a little bit this weekend, but
he was not going to play this weekend. He just came back
a few days earlier.
Right, Thursday. No way. All right, let's go ahead and say some other stuff about the other sports. I got nothing on the Sixers. Phillies, they're going for their 5th consecutive win today. They're looking for a 4-game sweep against the Nationals.
That was a quick flip on it. They were looking so bad there for a while. All of a sudden, they're on a 5-game win streak.
Weston Wilson hit for the cycle on Thursday. You talked about it. Your buddy John Nardone was at the game.
He was pretty
cool. Weston Wilson's been a guy who's been up and down on our team. Every once in a while, we pull him up, we put him back down to Lehigh. He's kind of going back and forth. I think in his first ever MLB game, he hit a home run for us, or maybe it was his first at bat for us. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had one of those moments where when he came to play for us and he hit a home run right away.
So he's got a couple showcases, but
his first career start hit a home run during his first career at bat. Wow. So his first ever career at bat. It was really cool. I remember it showed video of his family going nuts, and crying, and videos. It was really cool.
But it's really cool to hit for the cycle because you can't. That's such a hard thing, especially like he had to finish off with a double.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's like the players in the dugout were trying to hold him up. Don't go to third. Stay in there. That kind of thing. But it's pretty amazing when you hit for a cycle. It's just it's not done that often.
He's the 10th Philly in MLB history to ever do it. It was the 10th time, and I think the 9th was just last year. JT Real Muto. So it happened last year against the Diamondbacks.
Nice.
So Weston Wilson, cool for him. Awesome to see. So we'll be looking excited going forward. Next thing, the Philadelphia Union, they advanced in the League Cup. They are in the semifinals, so they are guaranteed to play for third place now at least. So if they lose the next game, they'll play for the third place spot. If they win, they're in the finals. So that'd be pretty cool to get a League Cup because the championship loss a few years back. It'd be nice to kind of lift those spirits over there.
Rough.
You got anything else to say?
No, I don't.
All right, let's say
our words, Len. Next weekend, I'll be watching.
That's right. You can follow us on Facebook. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe down below. Comment anything you'd like. You can email us questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. We'll see you later this week. But from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.